Hello everyone and welcome to the video. You'll notice that we're in the game room here today, but we're going to be doing kind of slightly a little different video here today. Allow me for a moment to set up my workstation here as we are going to try to perform a poster swap in this beautiful picture frame that I found at a local thrift store.
Oh, it's amazing. So pretty. Can't wait to see how it turns out.
Thank you, Kitty. I'm glad you have faith in this project because I had no idea what I was doing and I was just hoping to save a quick buck here. Just take a gander at this new poster that I'm going to be putting in there. It's an old sketched out version of a bird's eye view of the town that I reside in, and it's much more worthy of this frame than I think this dead tree thing.
We can do better.
Now, as I stated earlier, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I know that if I'm going to get inside this thing, I'm going to have to rip off this paper backing. So I began just ripping away and wanted to see what I discovered on the inside. Now, I'm glad I went to the thrift store to start this project. Really, this picture frame has nothing wrong with it. It's got a lot of life left in it, and so we're going to just kind of refresh it and give it another breath of life. Plus, if it turns out, it's really going to save me a lot of money versus what a really nice new picture frame costs. Now, after removing the backing, I saw that these little staples, if you can even see it in my camera angle here, were holding the picture frame and everything in place there, which I thought that might work out. I might be able to use my staple gun to put a couple back into the frame as well once I am all finished. Plus, after cracking this open, I noticed that it could really need some maintenance here at this point. I noticed that about half of them were already loose inside the picture frame itself, so we'll give it a few more once we get it all pieced back together so we can get it rolling. The ones that were still in there adhered to the frame itself were still pretty tight and in good condition, so I just used a screwdriver and kind of bent them out of the way, kind of how, a normal picture frame works with the little tabs on the back. And just because I planned on reusing as much of the ones that are actually in there when I'm all complete. You'll notice that in the footage that some of them did pop out, but that'll be fine. I'll just resync a couple staples into the actual frame itself once we're good to go. But got everything out now, and it is time to do a reveal of the original artwork that was inside this picture frame. I'll be sure to take special precaution on removing the tape that this frame is actually set in with the paper that's on the inside, whatever you call that. And here it is once again, just a good ocean view, but a lot of dead in there too. So let's swap this thing out. Now, of course, I did pre-measure this in the store and everything just to make sure that my poster would actually fit inside there. But it actually turned out way better than I could even imagine. Like, just looking at it right off the bat, it looks like it's gonna be a perfect fit. Don't you just love getting a new poster though, by the way? And it's constantly rolling up. I was fighting this thing the whole time, and I'm gonna need probably some serious tape to hold this down, which brings me to where I started looking things up. I remember that, some of your regular Scotch tape or anything that you might have inside your house is toxic, at least to pictures over long periods of time. And so I was doing some Google searching on what I might potentially have that would be a non-toxic tape that I could adhere to this picture, even though I don't plan on maybe having this picture for 50 years or anything like that. And it was just kind of a little side passion project that I was going after. But I heard that seam tape might potentially be a good alternative to use for tape and especially for pictures. Now, I had like construction seam tape. I'm not quite sure if that is non-toxic or not, but like I said, I guess I'm hoping to at least get a good handful of years out of this, and I hope that I chose a decent choice for my tape here going forward. This isn't some like original print or anything like that. If it was an original print, I would have done a lot more research and to make sure I got the exact right tape. This is just a reproduction thing that we just bought off Etsy, and so truthfully, if something leaches into this after a few years, it's really not going to affect anything, at least of value. And now we enter the somewhat painstaking process of making this thing lay flat and centering it hopefully perfectly inside of this already inset paper that's in the picture frame here already. And as I had stated, this thing is just constantly curling on me, and I'm just at least trying to adhere the sides here a little bit there first. I made sure that it worked top and bottom, and made sure everything looked pretty darn decent. And now just need to tape everything, top, bottom, side, and then do the corners. And then I also realized that that's definitely not going to be enough too. It was still peeling up kind of as you can kind of even see in the video here, it's kind of still peeling up there a little bit, but you can see we nailed the centering and everything. So I was very happy of that. And then I just kind of proceed to finish with the rest of the tape. Maybe I did a little bit of overkill. Maybe it would lay flat and I didn't need to put so much, but hey, I want this thing to be permanent. And even if I eventually give this to a thrift store again for someone else to buy, it's perfect. No one else will ever need to change this picture out. I'm sure that my decision is right, and no one needs to touch this. Okay. Now this picture frame was listed for $25 at my local thrift store, and that was still a little bit higher than what I wanted to pay. And I did get them talked down to $20, which is probably a fine price. I was actually still hoping to maybe get it for a little bit cheaper, but I still went with it because, like I stated, this project would just fit this poster perfectly. Like there's not a better chance, I suppose, which then definitely held value, that this picture would actually fit in this frame perfectly. I mean, it was meant basically to come home for this picture to be put inside of it. We are basically in the home stretch here now. I'm actually a little surprised. This project really only took me, I'd say, roughly about 20 minutes here to complete. Really, it wasn't bad, and most of that time I think was spent running around Googling things or finding my staple gun and everything. And so I now am just proceed to folding all the staples that are still included back over. And you'll notice that with the actually including some staples, so it wouldn't go all the way in, I just tried a method of like holding it back a little bit, and it shot out with still just a little bit of an edge. But I did notice when I was starting to do the top that my staples weren't long enough to shoot into it so it would still hold it. And I was just actually shooting staples at my computer. So I just finished with popping in some staples here at the bottom. There's a couple holding it in at the top, but it was enough to make sure that everything in the picture frame still holds strong. And now here we are for the grand reveal. Now, I should have maybe put some backing still on the back of the picture frame. I actually didn't because I didn't really have anything in my house at the moment. I could have maybe bought some just plain craft wrapping paper that would be non-toxic, but I just didn't have it here, and I can still always add that later. But here's a man just admiring his work. Like I said, look at that top to bottom, side to side. I thought that this thing just fit in here perfectly. I absolutely just loved how it turned out, and I just can't wait to get it hung up and see how it looks inside of my bedroom. It was definitely a good little project to do if you're looking for something that, like I said, it really didn't cost much. And now we do a little bit of boasting, which is important. You should be happy with your stuff. But here it is all hung up in my bedroom. Actually, originally, I thought the maroon look is actually kind of our town's colors in a way. And so I was happy with that, but then I remembered it actually matches my bedroom too. This was all completely on accident, but I'm just glad how everything all came together and met. Thanks for coming along on this project journey with me. Have a good one.